Now I'm going to complicate it even further. We're in the 4th District Court of Appeals. I haven't seen that case in the 4th District Court of Appeals. So it's possible that you could see disparate rulings in the courts on that very subject. So you want to be careful about sharing that with the client. It's a great argument. I think it's persuasive, but it's by no means a guarantee. I think you'd probably fare fairly well with it, but you can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee that. Okay? Now, when you start looking at a short sale, ultimately your client's going to have to ask themselves this question. What is the upside to me in doing the short sale? And is it worth the risk of losing these anti-deficiency protections? Ultimately, what you're doing in a short sale is you're replacing statutory protection with contractual language created by the lender that is frequently self-serving. Statutory protection, this laws came into play back during the Great Depression. They have withstood the test of time in the courts. And you're going to take, in a short sale, you're taking that away and you're replacing it with contractual language created by the bank. Doesn't mean you can't do the short sale. It just means you have to be on your toes. And you have to be mindful of what's happening. Coming back full circle, what's the nature of the relationship with the lender? A creditor-debtor relationship. What's the nature of that relationship? It's adversarial. So should you blindly trust the lender? What is in the debtor's best interest is not what is in the creditor's best interest. So you got to use some street smarts here and anticipate problems coming from the bank. Anticipate the bank trying to be a little disingenuous with you. Tax. A short sale, foreclosure sale, deed in lieu. Those are sales, ladies and gentlemen. Depending upon your client's basis in the property, there could be a capital gain. Whether or not there's a capital gain has nothing to do with the loan balance. Nothing whatsoever to do with the loan balance. I can't tell you how many clients I've seen who bought their property back in the early 90s for like $200,000, and by the time they come to see me, they're at $1.2 million in the loan balance. You say, well, how'd that happen? Where did that money go? I don't know. My wife wanted a Cadillac Escalade, and I got her a Cadillac Escalade. You got all that kind of stuff going on. And I'm sorry, but that Cadillac Escalade did not affect the basis in the property. So it's possible for the client not to receive penny number one on the sale of that property because it all goes to pay down the debt, and then for there to still be a capital gain. Surprise! Right? Forgiveness of debt. Prior to President Bush, love him or hate him, it used to be if you got a 1099 from your lender in the mail, that was income to you. Bottom line, that was income to you. President Bush, I forgot what year it was.
2007.
2007, I think that's right, 2007. Sponsored a law, Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act, where it says, hey, if the proceeds of the loan were used to purchase your residence or improve your residence, well, then you didn't have to include it, that portion of the 1099, in your income. But that expired in 2009. I think 2009 was the last tax year for it. Then the Obama administration came in and said, we hate that guy Bush, but we like that law, so we're gonna extend it out to 2000. I think it's 2012 through 2012. Now, but it's still temporary. It's still temporary. After 2012, what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball that reads out that far. But it's something you have to be, the homeowner has to be mindful of. They got to start thinking about this stuff. They're probably going to get a 1099. But here's again where different households are different. In one household, you have somebody with a purchase money loan. That means virtually under the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act, he's probably going to be okay. He's not going to have to include that as part of his income. But what about the other guy that, every 2 years he got a brand new Cadillac Escalade? Not only for him, for his wife, and his 3 kids. What about that guy? Well, now that guy might have a problem. That white guy might have a problem. Or what about the guy that used the money to improve the property, but he just has no receipts for it? Wow, it's all cash. Hire people down in Mexico. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. You got to be careful. Reality has a way of teaching people lessons they otherwise didn't want to learn. Now, there are tax consequences to all this. How do you, as a real estate agent or broker, getting involved in a short sale? Remember, you are now walking the field. You're walking in a field of play that is more representative of a battlefield than a playground. How do you navigate that battlefield? Disclosure, 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 disclosure. In this arena, redundancy in disclosing is a good thing. It's a good thing. You're going to provide disclosures to your client. They're going to be in writing, and you're going to get your client's signature on it. And you're going to do it more than once. Don't bury the disclosure in with a bunch of other paperwork at the time of closing of escrow, when he's in there signing his life away. Yeah, you can try and use that as a defense, but it's not going to be very persuasive. However, if you do it then, you do it at the front end, and you do it a couple times along the way, where the only document he's looking at the time you make the disclosure is the disclosure, well, then it's hard for him to say, I didn't know. What you're trying to do with the disclosure is eliminate the argument, I didn't know. I'm surprised. That's the importance of disclosure. Because if things, you've got to recognize, ladies and gentlemen, that these are consumers. Though they are our mutual bread and butter, we are fiduciaries to them. And human nature, being what it is, part of the human condition does not empower the human to look in the mirror and say, that's the bad guy. That's not part of the human condition. The human condition instead says, okay, who's the bad guy? It's somebody other than me. And they're going to point the finger. They come into our office all the time, fuming mad at the real estate agents and brokers and other lawyers that were assisting them with their mortgage distress. They're fuming mad. Why are they fuming mad? Well, things didn't work out quite the way they anticipated, much to their chagrin. Okay? So disclose. It eliminates that element of surprise. I told you. I told you. I told you how, that you need to talk to a lawyer. You need to talk to somebody. Okay. What do you just disclose? Okay, go ahead. Okay. Fiduciary. What I want to emphasize is we are all fiduciaries here. Our relationship with our clients is one based on a fiduciary relationship. Please don't lose sight of that. That means we do have a duty to disclose. By operation of law, the agency, you, me, we are fiduciaries with our clients. But if you want a definition of what it means to be a fiduciary, it says A fiduciary duty is created where confidence is reposed by one person in the integrity of another, and where the person by such confidence obtains any control over the affairs of the other, a trust or fiduciary relationship is created. Is that what exists in our relationship with our clients? Yeah. Yeah. They're trusting us. So what do we have an obligation to tell them? This is just a laundry list of duties. I want to focus in on the duty to disclose. What do you have a duty to disclose? All material facts. How do you determine if a fact is material? A fact is material and must be disclosed if it is one that the broker agent should realize would be likely to affect their principal's